morning, Spiritual Life Center. Welcome to the SLC Sunday Experience. We're so glad you're here. We want you to know your soul is in the right place at the right time.
That's right.
We're going to sing about that.
That's right. Just where you're meant to be, whether you're live streaming or here in person. Can you believe it's November? We're welcome here anyway. Let's sing about it. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In the right place, I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time. I am just where I am meant to be. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. And I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. Your soul is welcome. Your soul is welcome. All our souls are welcome here. I'm in the right place at the right time, right time. I am just where I am meant to be. I'm in the right place at the right time, right time. I am just where I am meant to be. In my soul, oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome here. Oh, my soul, you know you're welcome here. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome. I'm getting the message. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. Let me see your hands up. Come on. My soul is welcome. Everybody put your hands together. My soul, whether you're live streaming or in person, put your hands together. Is welcome here. Oh, my soul is welcome. And tell them about it. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome here. My soul is welcome. I am getting the message loud and clear. My soul is welcome.
Welcome. It's great to see all of you with us today and all the fun they're having in back there. And welcome, Paul Sanchez. Thank you for joining me on the platform today.
It's a pleasure, an honor. Good morning, Reverend Deborah. And, you guys, that's so good. We greet you in the name of all that is, we're getting down here now. In the name of all that is good, all that is sacred, and all that is holy, and in the warm, loving energy of our spiritual community, Spiritual Life Center honors all people worshiping in temples, mosques, churches, stone circles, and the beautiful temples of nature, because there is no space that God does not grace. If this is your first time joining us online or on site, we especially welcome you because we know that you are not here by accident. You are all here by
Divine appointment.
Thank you and welcome for your appointment. We also ask you to please silence your electronic devices and refrain from flash photography during the service.
And now let's take a moment to center ourselves and allow the outside world to drop away for this next few minutes so that we can join together our hearts and our minds and our souls, sharing the energy of love, of strength, of divine order, knowing that we come together in divine order, that everything that we do is has an underlying energy of divine order, and that we walk in strength when we accept that and take a step forward. We are so very grateful to be together in so many ways. We're grateful for those watching us online. And we know that whatever path you follow, that is your path, and it will take you to the holiest and highest of places. And we say, thank you, God. Amen. Spiritual Life Center has an important mission, and that is to transform lives as we love, serve, and remember. And we carry out that mission by following the 5 unity principles. And we say these together to help integrate them into our consciousness and into our hearts. And they also give us something to talk about. If somebody asks what we do here, it's like, what do you teach? This is one of the ways to talk about it. Let's say these together. God is absolute good and everywhere present. People are inherently good. Thoughts create our experiences. Prayer and meditation are how we connect with God, and we must take action. And a great action is all of us November babies stand up.
Happy birthday! Right in front of us. Let's all sing happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. And we also have these beautiful flowers here, and we'd like to thank Shirley Brown for these flowers. The Heart and Hands Knitting and Crochet Project begins today. Join Reverend Tanya Lisa Ramello in making hats and scarves to be distributed to a homeless population in South Sacramento. All supplies will be provided. Go to the Heart and Hands table in the courtyard for details.
And I believe Tanya Lee will be here after the service, so you can check in with her. November 20th is Gratitude Sunday. Next week is the last day of Faith in Action, and then the Sunday after that is always Gratitude Sunday. And Ron Palumbo will be our speaker. He will also then offer a workshop in the afternoon, and we have a video with some of his explanation for it. How's your lip reading skills? Okay, we will just take a breath here.
Jesus, the great way was said to told us, you guys aren't getting it. I came that you have life and have it abundantly. So let me ask, is there any area of life that could use a little bit more abundance? On November the 20th, we are bringing what workshop attendees have called the most powerful workshop ever. And this workshop basically helps us to move into a much higher state of consciousness where we feel God's unlimited good at a higher level. Therefore, we experience God's good at a higher level. So why do people call it the most powerful workshop ever, the people who've attended it? Well, the reason is we teach how we shape personal energy. So let me ask you a question. Would you invest 10 minutes a day to improve your life at the highest level you've ever experienced? People who've taken this workshop have had physical healings, relationship healings, have gotten more work, better jobs, and most of my unsolicited testimonials are about an increased income. So I'm going to invite you to open the date of November 20th, attend this wonderful, very empowering workshop where it's actually an immersion workshop. We are going to immerse ourselves into some very powerful tools and techniques that will change your life for the better. So thank you for being open to the possibility, and I hope to see you on Sunday, November 20th. Blessings.
So Reverend Ron will be our guest speaker that day, and then he will offer the workshop in the afternoon. And then there's a more intensive experience, the Healing and Empowerment Series, which he will offer that Monday and Tuesday. And so you can get details about that and sign up on our website a little bit later this week. And then November 20th is a double bonus because Gratitude Sunday is the Pie Social. Changing the clocks just did something to people. Bring your favorite sliced pie. Now, slice that pie before you get here, or other you can't bring it in the door. No, I'm kidding. But please slice your pie before you come and bring your favorite pie, and we will have a great time.
Wow. There's something called the table. Come to the table. Our Thanksgiving communion service is Wednesday, November 23rd at 7 p.m. This Thanksgiving Eve, day before Thanksgiving, we will commune with each other, the divine, in gratitude and love. To commune is to have an intimate conversation, and one of our most intimate things we do is share a meal with one another. This service features Reverend James Trapp and Reverend Deborah Phillips, with music by our own Larry Shiflett.
And this is the first Sunday of the month, and so this is the day that we honor our community giving partner. And Pat Orner is here to introduce our person. Hang on.
Okay. As a former tithing committee member, I was really moved to, when I met Laura, to nominate Laura Stamunkas. Stamunkas, and her Capital Adoptive Families Alliance as our next recipient. And anyway, when I met her, I was just really impressed with all the work she does for adoptive families, many of whom are just out of foster care. I'm just going blank today. Sorry about that. Anyway, please welcome Laura as our next recipient. Thank you.
Thanks so much. So like Pat said, my name's Laura Stamunkas. I am the Executive Director of Capital Adoptive Families Alliance. We've been doing business since 2009. We support adoptive, kinship, guardianship families. However, about 99% of the families we serve have adopted children from foster care. And there's this thought that once a child is adopted, it's kind of a happily ever type situation, where that's our goal. Anyone who's been touched by adoption knows that it can be a little more tricky than that. So we have designed a lot of different events and opportunities for adoptive families to come together and create a community. And we are so grateful for this donation. It goes directly towards the families. We have a kids camp and a family camp coming up this spring and summer, and that's where the funds will go. So thank you very much.
And Laura, I'm honored to present you with this $1,000 check that I hope will help those camps go really, really well.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
And remember, we also have many activities, including weekly small groups. To discover all happenings at Spiritual Life Center is to go to our website. On site, you can peruse the bulletin board, then go to the hub and sign up for an event.
So our Board of Trustees and Chaplains, please stand. Our Board of Trustees wear the purple ribbons on their name badges, and they're here to guide, shape, and provide oversight for our community operations. And if you have questions about Spiritual Life Center and want to know more, find one of these lovely people who give of their time and talent and chat with them, as they'll be glad to tell you whatever they know and perhaps make some stuff up. No. Thank you. Our chaplains are here to pray, to stand with us in confidential prayer in times of joy and in times of challenge. They wear the white stoles, and you can go out and find them in the courtyard after the service, and they will pray with you if you just ask.
And we love to welcome our newcomers. So in a moment, we will ask those of you here with us to raise your hand. There are many ways to connect at SLC, and you can get more information about small groups, events, and classes by filling out our online welcome card. If you are on site, it's right here, you raise your hand. You can simply raise your hand. You can fill out the card and take it to the welcome table in the courtyard, where you will receive a special gift and a warm welcome.
So if you're here with us for the very first time today, please raise your hand. Looks like we're all family today. Welcome, family, and let us stand now and greet each other the way that we are most comfortable. Say, you are marvelous.
And we invite you to stay standing. It is our second to last week to sing this awesome Faith in Action song that Paula Mandela wrote. Who's got the power? Thank you.
Well, I got the power.
Reverend Deborah has the power. Oh. Who's got the power?
I got the power.
Let's sing it. Let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light shining, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light shining, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. By cosmic design, audaciously fine, I align with my divine identity. So let there be light shining, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light shining, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. A pure heart and mind, intentions refine, I align with my divine identity. Whoa, let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Let there be light, our light shining in the presence and power of Spirit in me. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I got the power.
Come on, let me see your hands up there.
I got the power.
You got the power.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I got the power.
I got the power.
I got the power. I got the power to live faithfully. I got the power to forgive to breathe life to my dreams. I got the power to create reality. I got the power to compare and contrast. I got the power to erase my hurtful past. I got the power to choose a direction. I got the power to question my perception. I got the power to be stronger than before. I got the power to step through that. Oh, I got the power to honor our life. I got the power to peace and harmony. I got the power to break the chains of habit. I got the power to shimmer and dazzle. I got the power. So let there be light.
So, of course, most of you know, but not everybody knows, I guess, is that during Faith in Action, we read the book, we have the groups that meet, and of course, we have the Sunday talks, and then we have our wonderful artists that all come from SLC who choose a chapter, and they do a piece of artwork for that. So today we have Joella Aragon, and hers is called Portraits in Courage. Strength is physical, mental, and spiritual. All strength originates in spirit. That's Charles Fillmore in The Revealing Word. Linda Martello Whitsett, the author of Divine Audacity, tells us that the stabilizing power of strength is learning to become centered, calm, balanced, rooted, anchored, secure, safe, sturdy yet flexible, and strong in character when faced with the seeming insurmountable hardships of life. Although I only had room on my collage for 6 photographic representations of SLC members, each of you represents the strength, courage, and tenacity of David when battling the Goliaths in life. I've witnessed your tenacity when you stand strong, centered, and calm against the challenges of illness, the loss of a loved one, or financial difficulties. Each time you've been knocked down, you got back up. I've witnessed your courage when you teach us by showing up for life when you've lost a friendship, a pet, or accomplished the hard tasks of caring for the sick. I've witnessed when you're sturdy against the storm of a lost marriage or a job. You refuse to hide out in your room in the dark feeling sorry for yourselves. You've chosen to engage with life. During life's challenges, you are David standing up to Goliath with spiritual strength, tenacity, and audacity. You are radiating lights of love to the world. Thank you, Joella. And Diana Mandela has brought us this beautiful piece, and this is what her statement says. Okay, everyone, it's time to fasten your seatbelts and prepare for a journey to find the light of strength and order. I began working on this painting in August during the time known to astrologers and numerologists known as Lionsgate, a period where the sun in Leo aligns with the brightest star in the night sky, Sirius. Leo tells us to be brave, to be free, and to be full. In just a few days, on 11/11, we will be passing through another energy portal, signifying the new beginning of a cycle and the opportunity to dream without fear. It is time to plan for the best possible outcome. In the painting, the sky is intense with the light and energy of the rising sun. Rain clouds form, preparing to quench the thirstiness below. The regal lioness adds her energy as she welcomes the rain from her perch in the tree. A strong-backed woman climbs the hill with her water bucket on her head, ready to receive the life-giving water. Elephants and giraffes walk toward the riverbed in anticipation. This beautiful scene illuminates the gifts of strength and order. Standing our ground in shifting circumstances, acting courageously, and staying the course, our strength is expressed. Stability is anchored in the firm foundation of the truth of our divine identity. Built into life is a natural order that offers us clues as to how to create our own experience. Relying on this, we navigate and sequence our thoughts, words, and actions to support our wholeness of being. We adjust, evolve, and transform, one in love with the universe. Thank you, Diana.
At this time, I invite us to speak out loud and embody the words of our vision statement. Spiritual Life Center is a loving, vibrant family that welcomes home all people and accepts everyone, no exceptions, weaving ancient spiritual traditions with emerging wisdom. We cultivate a spiritual deepening with the divine, each other, and our planet. And now, in preparation for meditation, we sing this beautiful chant once again. I am as God created me.
Please join us.
I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory. I am as God created me, in the light, in the love, in the glory.
I am as God created me. Breathe in that beautiful chant. Breathe out. In the light, in the love, in the glory, I am. Gently notice that the words I am shifted positions from the beginning to the end. Don't think about it, just notice. One of the purposes of this chant, is to help us slow our thinking, to slow our thinking mind, and it facilitates going more deeply into presence. Sit comfortably with your feet flat on the floor, spine strong and straight, heart soft. Close your eyes and gently shift from thought to awareness. Breathing in, I am aware of my in-breath. Breathing out, I am aware of my out-breath. In-breath, out-breath. As you breathe, notice the air entering and gently caressing your nostrils, the air filling your lungs. Each time you exhale, notice how much more and more relaxed your body becomes. The more relaxed you become, the more connected to spirit you become. In-breath, aware. Out-breath, aware. Consider that divine connection. Mind, body, spirit. Human order tends to place these words in this sequence: mind, body, spirit. Just as the words in the chant shifted, allow these three words to shift in any order they choose. Mind, spirit, body, body, spirit, mind, any order. Release any desire to control which word should come first. Simply continue your breathing and your connection to Source. Allow divine order its place in this moment. Let go. Let go in the silence. Gently return your awareness to the present. Wiggle your fingers or your toes or whatever you do to help yourself return. But before you open your eyes, please join me in prayer. Divine presence. When we hold on to human order, we sometimes create our own suffering. When we release our attachment to how we think things should be, we become free and accept a higher order, divine order. I am the evolving power of order, awakened to my ever unfolding consciousness. I incorporate the best of my past into my present and reach naturally toward a fuller and more enlightened future. I go through the open door and choose an orderly course of thought and action. I bring about order moment by moment, choice by choice. And so it is. Amen, and I am.
The falling leaf will reap winter's cold. The sweet summer breeze appears when spring unfolds. And if it's the darkest night or a brightest day, if the sky's blue or gray, whatever come what may, it's all in divine order, today and days before. All is in divine order, now and forevermore. There are things in life we don't understand. Everything happens for a reason. There's a perfect plan. Nothing happens out of season. There are those with hearts full of joy, and there are those in pain. If the sky is blue or gray, whatever come what may, it's all in divine order, today and days before. All is in divine order, now and forevermore. if the sky is blue or gray. Here and now, I say, all is in divine order, now and forever.
Thank you, Anne, for making the speaker cry before she has to speak. Divine order, now and evermore. There's a story, and there's probably several versions of this story, and some of you have probably heard a version of it. And it tells of a person who's been walking in their garden, and they come to a cocoon that they've been watching develop over time. And on this day, the cocoon is opening. The butterfly is working its way out, and it seemed to have a really difficult time. So uncomfortable with watching that struggle, the person reached out to help and tore the cocoon open. The butterfly came out, and shortly afterwards, it died. What the person learned later was that the butterfly was deprived of the opportunity to strengthen its wings so it could fly. If it couldn't fly, it couldn't feed itself. It couldn't be a butterfly. There was a purpose and order to the process of transforming from a caterpillar to a butterfly. And some of that included a little bit of struggle. It took some work. But all of those steps were necessary to the butterfly's survival. Now, while this could be a cautionary tale about codependence, that's not our purpose today. In the 6th week of our Faith in Action series, we're talking about strength and order. And though the chapter on strength becomes before the chapter on order, it seemed to me, the more I thought about this, that we really should have a handle on order before we get a proper perspective on strength. We live in a very orderly world, material circumstances notwithstanding. You know, the sun, planets, they reliably orbit and rotate in their appointed rounds. Day follows night, night follows day. Seasons follow seasons. Life follows death, death follows life. When you step back far enough, you can see all of life is cycles within cycles. Life on earth is a process, and in many ways, it is a reliable process. Now, most of us are familiar with the 3rd chapter of Ecclesiastes. For everything there is a season and a time for every matter under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die. A time to plant, a time to pluck up what is planted. A time to kill, a time to heal. A time to break down, and a time to build up. A time to weep, and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to throw away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to seek, a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to throw away. A time to keep silent and a time to speak. A time to love, a time to hate, a time for war, and a time for peace. This is a beautiful passage, and I think we turn to it when we want reassurance because it makes life sound so organized and neat and tidy. It's, pretty simple in those passages. Yet, within all of this organization, most of us experience periods that we would call chaos. Now, we don't like it very much. We often resist it. We want to think that divine order means no conflict, no struggle, no traffic jams, just a smooth ride down that freeway. What Ecclesiastes doesn't tell us is that a lot of other stuff will be going on during each season. And when we are into that traffic jam, we evoke Ecclesiastes because we think that is divine order we are looking for. And indeed it is. I think the real issue is that we tend to misunderstand what divine order really is. Now, a simple example is if you want to completely remodel a building, you have to what? Tear it down first, right? And then you clear out the debris, and there's a god-awful mess there for a while. Then you decide how you want it to be, and then you put in the work to get it done. There's an order to that process, even though there are times when everything seems completely destroyed. But there is that underlying order to the process that you can actually rely on, because in that case, you know the steps. And of course, the thing is often we don't know the steps. Sometimes we don't even know what we are doing. We're just putting one foot in front of the other. And putting one foot in front of the other will lead us to where we want to go. And sometimes the path is obvious, sometimes not so much. My journey to ministry was long and convoluted. And for anybody who thinks that anybody walks into ministry easily, we'll have a talk later. But I came into the world knowing that I had a spiritual calling. And back then, the Episcopal Church didn't ordain women, so there were not a lot of options. And I lived in a very small town, so I didn't have opportunities like this. And when I was in high school, I entertained the idea of going to a convent and becoming a nun. That lasted about a week because every time I thought about it, I could just hear God laughing. Ha ha, right. And truthfully, even if I had been accepted into it, I think I probably would have lasted a week. I was looking for a spiritual, how to do my spiritual work. So I let it all go, and I tried to make my way in the world. And of course, lots of things happened in between. But in my early 30s, actually it was in my late 20s, I started ministerial training with religious science, which is now, changed their name a little bit. It's the same teaching. And I completed the first 3 levels. And then life intervened. And it was 36 years before ordination happened. Life took me in many directions during that time, and I found other ways to do spiritual work. But there was also a frustration because I couldn't find my right place. And then one day in 2009, I was listening to Reverend Jim Lee give a talk over at Christ Unity. I was sitting there minding my own business, and an actual voice said, "It's time, call Blaine and ask him to ordain you." Now, Reverend Blaine Mays had been my original mentor and teacher 36 years before. And I'm like, right, call a man you haven't talked to in over 30 years and say, "Hey, can I nip around and you just ordain me, please?" But I did call him, and he said, "I would love to ordain you." So I went down there, and I was ordained in a private ceremony by 3 people in an empty church with my husband as the only witness. So then what came next? I wasn't attached to a church. I didn't know what to do. I just knew that, okay, I got here, I did that, and I spent 3 years trying to find a place, trying to just find out what I was supposed to do, and nothing was working. Until one day, something changed, and I was offered the opportunity to do a little prayer group here. Now, mind you, my entire goal was to quietly facilitate a small group and stay in the background and stay as anonymous as possible. You will notice how that worked out. I give you the highlights of my life, but I can tell you that when I look back on all those years, way back into my early childhood, I can see that I was in training for what I am doing now in this specific place. Not for just general ministry, it was to bring me here to do and fit in here. And honestly, had I gone the traditional route of ministerial training, I doubt seriously if I'd be doing this work today. Did I enjoy marching through those harder bits? Of course not. Did I feel frustrated and like a failure at times? Oh yeah. But in all those years of spiritual formation, those were the greatest gift I ever could have received. I'm grateful that I was enough of a rebel to follow the guidance even when it took me far afield. And my point is that even though I struggled and became frustrated and gave up at times, divine order was working under it all to bring me and us to this point here now. In Divine Audacity, Reverend Linda offers 3 traits for divine order: organization, adjustment, and evolution. And if you step back and look at my life, or your life, our lives, you can see how this works. I put one foot in front of the other. That was as much organization as I could find sometimes. And then something would happen, and I would adjust my thinking and my actions. And over time, I evolved into who I am right now. And all of you do this and have done the same thing in your own way. You know, I tell you my story. I stand up here and talk about me because that's the only story I have. Each one of you has your own story, and it will follow the same pattern, the divine order underlying everything that has taken you from where you were to where you are right now. We are always adjusting so we can evolve. It is the natural way of things. It is order. Divine order underlies everything at all times. And my primary go-to affirmation, especially when I'm looking at something and I can't even think, is divine order prevails in all aspects of my life. That's the first thing that will come out of my mouth. For me, divine order is stability. It's foundational. So you shouldn't be surprised now when I say that Reverend Linda chose stability, courage, and tenacity as the aspects of strength. And the reason I decided to quote the Ecclesiastes passage was not because it's so popular, but because it calls you to have strength to endure, to continue no matter the season. It is telling you outright that this is a messy world. You will notice that not all of those seasons mentioned are super positive. But it also reassures us that there's that underlying pattern to everything. I used strength when I first came here. No one knew me, maybe a couple people. I had absolutely no experience working as a minister in a church. And I was offered a little prayer group. And by that, I mean the one person who came each week. I came and I did it, and I never complained about the size. I kept doing it for about 6 months, whereupon the person who was coming made his transition. And it was time, we all agreed, it was time to let that group go. And so I stayed in a different small group and helped facilitate it. And I would do an occasional memorial service for people outside the church. A year or two later, I was asked to do the Wednesdays, the Wow Wednesdays. And I got to tell you, I had absolutely no idea on this planet how to do that. I had no clue. And I still don't know why I said yes. Well, actually, I do. It was divine order. But I remember sitting there listening to Reverend James and Reverend Marge telling me how hard it was going to be and all these things and whatever, and my brain is going, we're not doing that, and my mouth said yes. Divine order. That was a huge step into the unknown for me. Divine order put me in a place with a senior minister who would allow me to develop as a minister and with people who would support me and teach me. Strength gave me the courage and tenacity to step into unknown territory. Organization, adjustment, and evolution. Those are the words for order. Stability, courage, and tenacity are the words for strength. Organization and stability go hand in hand. Think of how better you feel when you're organized, right? That stability keeps you from being distracted. You aren't worrying about all that other stuff that needs to be done. You're just getting on with things. And when you aren't distracted, you're also able to focus on your inner life. You can listen to Spirit. You can follow and be open to divine order. It takes courage to make adjustments in your thinking and in your actions. And it takes courage to change your life, to stop resisting and to adjust. I know it sounds kind of funny to say that it takes courage to stop resisting, But think about it. We resist because we feel safe with the status quo. Even if we don't like the status quo, what is that? You know, the devil you know is better than the devil you don't know, whatever. So it takes courage to make that step. Adjusting, letting go of old ways of thinking and acting is a deeply courageous act. And we cannot evolve unless we're tenacious. If we just give up, we don't move forward. I remember not long after I started my Thursday morning group in 2016, I was talking with a woman, and it was a casual conversation, and I mentioned something about a 36-year journey to ordination. And she looked at me with kind of wonder in her eyes, and she said, "But you never gave up." I was absolutely stunned at that comment because I had never looked at it that way. I thought I had given up 100 times. That was one of the best things anybody has ever said to me. It was like, wow, I guess I did hang in there. Who knew? Tenacity might not mean being focused totally on something for 24/7. In fact, it mostly doesn't mean that. It might just mean keeping the goal in sight. It might mean putting it in a drawer for a while, but you know exactly where it is. Keeping on leads to evolution because you courageously step forward. And you're able to do this because you are supported by a divine, orderly energy that will never, ever let you down. It will never desert you because that energy is you. Divine order prevails in all aspects of our lives at all times. Divine order is a foundational power, and it takes us into the unknown, and then it confuses us. But please know this. Strength in all its aspects dwell within each of you right here, right now. Divine order in all of its glory prevails in all areas of your life right here, right now. All you need to do is recognize yourself as an amazing, divine, beautiful person, being that you are. And when you recognize and accept your divine identity, those powers will rise up to meet you. And then you will stand in strength as divine order leads you to your highest good. And your light will shine for all to see. And so it is. Next week is our final week of Faith in Action. Reverend James will be back. Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. We always have an affirmation for every talk during Faith in Action, and let's say this together. With strength I am anchored. I stand in my holy ground. My life flows in divine order. My light shines for all to see. And as I was saying, Reverend James will be back next week for our final week of Faith in Action. And remember, the week after that is Gratitude Sunday with Reverend Ron and the pie. But James will be back, and he's going to be talking about the light of release and life. And we have special musical guests, and I'll be doing the meditation. I think it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful Sunday. And so now we have the opportunity to support Spiritual Life Center. If you want to help, especially if you're out online and you want to help spread this wonderful message and this consciousness, you can text SLC Love at 44321. You can go to our website and donate that way. And of course, you can always mail in a check if you want to do that. Supporting the SLC is a divine, it's in divine order. So let us say our blessing together. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I circulate. Thank you, God.
Inside my head there lives a dream that I wanna see in the sun. Behind my eyes there lives a me that I've been hiding for much too long. 'Cause I've been too afraid to let it show. 'Cause I'm scared of the judgment that may follow. Always putting off my living for tomorrow. It's time to step out on faith. I gotta show my faith. It's been elusive for so long, but freedom is mine today. Gotta step out on faith. Gotta show my faith. Procrastination had me down. Just look what I have found. I found strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. Behind my pride there lives a me that knows humility. And in my voice there is a soul. And in my soul there is a voice. But I've been too afraid to make a choice. 'Cause I'm scared of the things that I might be missing. Running too fast to stop to listen. It's time to step out on faith. I gotta show my faith. It's been elusive for so long, but freedom is mine today. Gotta step out on faith. Gotta show my faith. Procrastination had me down. Just look what I have found. I found strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. I close my eyes and I think of all the things that I want to see. 'Cause I know now that I opened up my heart, I know that anything I want can be. So let it 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 be. Strength, courage, and wisdom. It's been inside of me all along. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me all along. Now all I really pray for is strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me, inside of you all along. Strength, courage, and wisdom inside of me. I found it in me. I found it finally. I found it. Now I'm only going to keep it. I found it. Strength, stability, tenacity. I found it in me. I found it. It's always been there in me. I found it. I found it. I found
Thank you. We give thanks for the offering, for the support for Spiritual Life Center, knowing that as we grow, the consciousness grows and the message is spread throughout the land. And we are so very grateful that knowing that giving and receiving are part of the divine order and the circulation gives us strength. And we bless the prayers in the prayer box, knowing that before the question is asked, the answer is already here. And we know that divine order prevails in every circumstance, no matter the question. And as these are sent to Silent Unity to be prayed over for the next 30 days, we know that divine order will continue to prevail, and the highest and best answers will manifest for each person who has that prayer. And we know that all is in divine order and that we are supported by strength and love and joy. And so it is. And now our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, I am, and all is well. And now the peace song.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator. Family, all are we. Family, all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. Let this be the moment. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow, to take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let it begin with me.
Afternoon, and may the joys of the world go with you.
Let's go do our little shakies. You wanna shake your shake?